All right, we are breaking down some more Dynasty trades on today's video from our community over there in Discord. If you want your trade to be considered, join our Discord with the link that is in the description. And then anytime you send a trade that's been completed in the Dynasty Trades text channel, we will consider it. Now, we are only looking at 2 trades.
That's right.
Sometimes, we like to look at these trades in detail and discuss why we feel a certain way. I see some comments where people are like, wow, only 2 trades? Like, well, yeah, that's what we say every time we start. So we're going to look at 2 of your trades today. The first one is from CEB713. All right. And C3PO. You can see that on the screen now. Team A got Breece Hall in the 201. Team B got Cam Akers in a 2023 first. Badaki, you are a big Cam Akers believer. So I'm very curious to see what you think about this trade.
Yeah. When I looked at it, I was like, damn, Cam in a 2023 first. Look, in my opinion, I do believe this could be a fair trade. It really depends on your team construction and how you want to go about this. You do have, let's really break it down. Breece Hall, who is a top 5 running back, at least in both of our eyes. And then you get Cam Akers, who I still believe is a top 10 running back. In my eyes, I know it's a little bit different for you, but he has to, you keep saying, break that mold of history with the injury, But it's all about the 2023 first. Can you get the value? What are you getting in the 2023 first? Where's that 2023 first at? And I think that is massive because that can be a quarterback or a wide receiver for the next 10 years if you do get a good spot. And for me, I think youth is the answer here, and it's going to be Breece Hall. So I do believe Breece Hall in the 2022 second round is the answer. I'm going with Team A.
Okay.
He's currently.
I'm surprised. I really thought you would go Team B because you love Cam.
I am a Cam Akers believer. Once again, but I'm going to go with the youth here and look at the value that you can get in the second round, especially this year. And the next year's draft is supposed to be even better. Okay. In the 201, depending on your drafts, James Cook, David Bell, Desmond Ridder, Jalen Tolbert, the Pierce brothers, Damian Pierce and Alec Pierce. The list can go on depending on where you want to go. But I think that's good value depending on where that player lands. And if I can get Breece Hall and James Cook, for me, because I'm a James Cook believer, I'm buzzing. I'm okay with that. But once again, it all depends on your team construction and where that 2023 first is. So once again, I'm going with Team A. But it is a fairly even trade in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a pretty even trade in my eyes. However, I do lean Team A here. I do lean Team A, and I think there's 2 big reasons. Number one, I do worry about Cam Akers. I have said this before, but I do worry about it. The only running backs that we can really look to who tore their Achilles, James Robinson, we haven't seen him recover, obviously, yet, but also Deonta Foreman in Houston, Marlon Mack in Indianapolis, and they weren't really able to recover from that as far as like producing elite numbers. But more importantly, I think it's about how I value Breece Hall. Because for me, this time next year, I think Breece Hall probably costs multiple first rounders. I said this before, but I think we could be talking about Breece Hall as the running back 2 in Dynasty midway through this season. I really do think that's a good possibility. When I think about running backs who have all of the following: talent, age, workload, long-term security, it is a very short list. The NFL is continually moving more and more towards this split backfield, but at the moment, feels like wouldn't make sense not to give Breece an entire full workload, a 20 touch per game type workload for a guy like Breece.
Right.
So for me, we're talking about Breece next year. He's going to cost multiple first round picks in my eyes. Like, I think he will become a truly elite Dynasty asset. And like you said, the 201, it's pretty good value this year. It really is. Sometimes that's George Pickens. Sometimes that's Jahan Dotson.
That's right. Depending on how you draft
sometimes that's Alec Pierce. So I think there's pretty good value there. So I do lean Team A here. I brought this trade up because I thought you were going to go Cam Akers. I really thought you were going to go Cam Akers because of how much you love him.
I love Cam Akers, but I'll be realistic. I would rather have Breece in the 201. I don't know what that 20. If you could tell me guaranteed that's a top 5 pick, maybe I'll take Cam Akers in the 2023. But risk aversion,
right?
Breece is guaranteed.
And no one can really predict that.
Yeah, Breece is guaranteed. If I'm just seeing this, I'll be like, I have to go Breece. I have to.
Yeah. All right, trade 2. I don't know the name because I believe the text was in Japanese on our Discord, so I don't actually know how to say that name. I don't want to try because I know I'll just make a fool of myself. But there's some context here. It's a 12-team PPR Superflex league, and he said the 101 was Breece Hall, the 104 was Kenneth Walker, and the 106 was Olave. So you can now see the teams here. So essentially, Team A is getting Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall.
Oh boy.
Team B is getting Trey Lance, Kenneth Walker, and Chris Olave. I'll start here.
Interesting.
I don't think the trade value is all that off, to be honest. I don't think it's an insane trade either way as far as like one side getting more value than the other. I think it is a relatively even trade. But when I think about year 2 quarterbacks who I believe have the best chance to break out, I honestly think Zach Wilson is at the top of the list for me. I really do. With everything that they've done this offseason, it's all been about building around Zach Wilson and improving their defense. Whereas, obviously they gave Zach Wilson Garrett Wilson. They gave Zach Wilson Breece Hall. Elijah Moore is there. They signed more tight ends for Zach Wilson.
That defense
Meanwhile,
gets better.
in Chicago, what we gave Justin Fields Velus Jones. This team is actually no disrespect to Velus, but this team has really built around Zach.
No doubt.
And I liked the development I saw for him last year. So while I still prefer Trey Lance in Dynasty, I don't think that the gap, because for me, the two gaps here in this trade is the Breece Hall to the Kenneth Walker gap, right? And then the Zach Wilson to the Trey Lance gap. But for me, the gap between Breece and Kenneth is far bigger than what the gap is between Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, just because I really do think he's going to have a chance to break out. You guys already know what I think about Breece. But can I just say one quick worry that I have about Team A here?
Yeah.
Did anyone notice something about this?
I did.
All of these players are from the same team.
That's the problem.
They are all New York Jets. You are putting a lot of eggs in one basket here. I mean, Badaki and I both agree that we believe in these talents individually. I love Elijah Moore. I love Breece Hall. I think Zach Wilson is going to take a step in year 2, a real big step. But they are the New York Jets, and you are putting a lot of eggs in one basket. Whereas Team B, there is so much variety here as far as different teams. You got the Seahawks with Kenneth, the Saints with Chris, Trey Lance is on the Niners. So to be honest, I really do think there is potentially more risk with Team A, but I do prefer Team A still because in Dynasty, I do want to bet on talents, and Breece Hall for me is the big differentiator there, but I think it's super close. And to be honest, I think the risk of betting all on one team makes it a completely even trade for me in my eyes.
Yeah, look, it's definitely it's a tough one. It's really tough. One thing, let me just say this: I do believe it's a fairly even trade, and I completely agree with Zach. And the way I saw this is really breaking it down. Okay, and I guess I'll give you a little sneak peek to my rankings. Trey Lance is my QB 12. Zach is my QB 14. It's not that big of a difference. I agree with Zach. I do believe this team is built around Zach Wilson. I do believe he could be the most successful guy coming into this year. I do have my reservations on Trey Lance. So it really depends on who you prefer in each position. Elijah Moore, Chris Olave, back-to-back, wide receiver 18-19. Literally back-to-back. I mean, there's no wrong answer there, it feels like. And then Breece.
In your rankings.
Yeah, in my rankings. And then I agree with you. Breece and Walker is my biggest guy. My RB5 and Walker is my RB12. So I think that's where it takes it. And that's why I believe it could be a clear winner potentially for Team A. And I do believe that it is a lot of risk to go in on one team. But one thing I did think of as you were talking about that, what if you keep Zach Wilson, keep Breece Hall? I think you can flip Elijah Moore for a first. Why not try? I mean, obviously you're trading within trade, but that's not part of that's not part of the video. But like that's just a thought process, really quick thought process.
You could technically trade Chris Olave for first round picks. You can do that as well. So we could say
I guess the reservation really is for me is with Kenneth Walker. Not saying that he won't be able to get the workload or he's not going to get the workload, but we're just expecting him to get into the workload. We don't know if Rashad Penny is going to be the guy
straight away.
We don't know if Chris Carson is still going to be the guy. Like the expectation.
Chris Carson doesn't worry about. But Penny could have a role.
The expectation is that he is going to get the workload, but if he doesn't, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. And he's like, damn, I definitely made the wrong decision. So from
you know what, something I just thought of with Kenneth Walker. We kept saying Javonte Williams. Just Melvin Gordon's we're gonna be free of Melvin soon. What if we see Rashad Penny sign a 2-year deal with Seattle after this season, and they become a really good duo? That doesn't devalue Kenneth in my eyes, but it at least limits his upside. But I think we have to be cautious of upsides in general for a lot of these running backs.
I think so as well. So it's a tough one. But for me, I think it's a fairly even trade. But if I had really had to pick one, I'm going Team A. No doubt about it.
Yeah. I think if I could get a second-round pick on Team B, I would feel better about it. I might lean that side because I do see there is more upside with Trey Lance. I mean, that's just obvious. There is more upside there. And I actually do prefer Chris Olave over Elijah Moore by, I think, about 4 or 5 spots in my rankings.
Okay.
So I think a team, if Team B could have a second added, I think I would probably consider it a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the community will probably disagree with us. I think they really believe in Trey Lance.
I believe in Trey Lance as well, but there's definitely reasons to be worried or skeptical.
100%.
Same reasons why I'm skeptical of Zach Wilson.
Agreed.
All right, comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts are. If you are all in on one of these players, if you lean a certain way on one of these trades, let us know in the comments below.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
now,
it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.